Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda Rose. Now today's video is going to be a little bit different because it's not about teaching, but I did want to share my 5 lessons that I've learned so far while being in quarantine. For the last month and a week, give or take, I've spent most of my time at home. And so there's a lot of things that I've learned, but I wanted to put this into just like the 5 most important things that I have learned. Let's get to it. And I think it would also be a great idea if you guys can list some things that you've learned while you've been in isolation. I think we're doing a lot of thinking during this time. We're doing a lot of observing during this time. And so if there's anything that you've learned that can help inspire growth and positivity, then please make sure that you list that down below as well. But here are the 5 things that I've learned while being in quarantine. Number 1, relationships matter. I think now more than ever, we are realizing that the people that we have in our lives, whether it be family, friends, co-workers, our neighbors, that people matter so much. And I think before this whole thing happened, I was getting really busy with life and with work and with just going here and there and this like non-stop attitude, right? Like living here is just like, you just don't stop. You're constantly moving. A body in motion stays in motion. And I think that this has really allowed myself to kind of just sit back and be like, okay, family matters, right? Relationships matter. Making sure that you are Zooming with friends and making sure that you're continuing to keep in contact with people. And now more than ever, I think that the reason why so many people are even able to get through this is because they have other people that they can rely on. And so for me, for sure, I have learned that the relationships that I do have in my life, the people that I do consider really close to me, like they are so much more important to me than ever before. Even though they always were, I think it's just created a newfound appreciation for the people and the relationships that I have built in my life. Number 2, financial literacy is so important. Now, back in January, I had posted a video on how to budget your money. And I had no idea that a pandemic was about to occur, right? But I had spoken in that video that back in November, my husband and I had just gotten this desire to pay off our debt, pay off our credit cards, and really just attack our finances and our debt really, really aggressively. And a couple of months later, when this all happened in March, we would have never guessed that this would be the circumstances. And so I'm so grateful that we had that financial plan in place, because we were still having to pay off our credit cards and having to worry about so much debt. That would have created a lot of stress. Also, having a savings account, just revealing how important it is to be in control of your finances and to have a savings. Now, for people who have lost their jobs, I'm not referring to, I don't want anyone to get offended. This is not to be like, hey, you should be saving money. This is for people who are still working or for people who are receiving unemployment, to be wise with your money, right? You want to create a budget. Go back to that video in January if you need assistance, but revisit your budget. We've done so as of this moment, and redoing our budget has been so important. And this is going to be a situation where everyone has kind of had to reboot, and us as well, and relook at our money and relook at how we're spending it. And then when we get out of this situation, we're going to have such a handle on our finances more than ever that the sky is really going to be the limit. And so financial literacy is so important. That's definitely something that I've learned during this time. Third thing I've learned, I'm not just a teacher. Now, hear me out. What I'm saying is, for so long, I have identified as a teacher, right? I am a teacher through and through. It's who I am. I've loved teaching since I was a kid, and just the idea of teaching someone something, I've loved learning, and obviously now I do that for my career. But being here home has really showed me that I have other talents, right? I have other gifts. I have other things that I'm good at, and it has shown me that I love to draw, and I love to color, and I love to just show creativity in other areas. And I think that a lot of people are actually learning this. Like, being home has really showed a lot of people like, hey, you have a lot of really great talents and things that you've never explored before, things that you've never had the time to consider. Now than ever, I see so many people on Instagram who are playing instruments and singing and writing songs and writing books and poems, and it's like, yes, like this is it. Like, you have so much more within you than you ever thought, and that is definitely a lesson that I am learning. Like, yes, I am a teacher and I love my job and through and through, but I'm more than a teacher. I think that this time I've just learned I'm more than who I thought I was, and I think for a long time I put myself in this box of identity. And so I do appreciate that quarantine is challenging me to step outside of my box a little bit, explore things. And the truth is, if I fail, it doesn't matter because no one will really know because I'm only in my house, right? And so I think that that's really important for you guys too. Like, try other things, consider things that you may have never considered before, because like, what really do you have to lose, right? You have all the time, and you never know, you may spark a new habit, a new hobby that could even turn into a new business, right? You really have no idea the power of potential. And so that's definitely something I've learned. I'm more than just a teacher. Lesson number 4: being healthy is not just about physical health, but also about our mental health. So much about wellness is physical, spiritual, and mental. And I think that a lot of times when we hear people talking about being healthy, we always think about, oh, well, physically, they're eating right, they're staying in shape, they're working out. And yeah, that's one form of health. But I think what I've also learned is that mental health, now more than ever, is so important. And I think that we have seen mental health come more and more to the forefront of a lot of conversations, and I think that a lot of people are feeling much more comfortable talking about those things. But I think that having people isolated in their homes, not really interacting with people, it does really play a toll on a lot of people's mental health. Your mental health is so important. And yes, it's one thing to stay physically fit and work out and exercise and eat right, but your mental health, this quarantine is really challenging people's mental health, because it'll affect your mood, it'll affect the way you view what's happening, it'll affect the way you think about the future, the way you think about your family, it'll affect if you choose to be motivated or not. And so wellness is a collection of your physical, your mental, and your spiritual health. And I've always known that to an extent, but again, I think during quarantine, those things have just become like so much more important to me. Like, I'm realizing more than ever, like, wow, your mental, like, this is challenging on your mental health. And it's really important to be grounded and rooted in things that are strong. It's really important to reach out to family, to reach out to friends, to continue to talk to people about how you're feeling, because this is challenging for a lot of people, and it is testing our mental health, not just physical, but definitely mental. And we want to make sure that we are experiencing wellness fully. And complete wellness, again, I believe, is mental, physical, and spiritual. And then the last lesson I've learned is that complete peace can only come from God. Now, I don't really talk about God on my channel, even though I am a Christian, but and this is my personal thing. But for me, I think it's really easy to look at money, or to look at the way that the world is going, and to look at how much food is available in supermarkets and those things, or medicine, right? Like, because of my diabetes, like making sure I have a good amount of insulin here. Like, there's so many things that can rattle your peace and can cause you to get anxious or fearful. And for me, I've just realized that being rooted in my faith, being rooted in God, is really the only thing that I have found to fully give me peace. And reading my Bible and being in the Word, I feel like even when I start to get like worried, or if I start to like think about things that are negative and that I know are not like positive, like, I can always go back to the Bible and I can be encouraged by the Word of God. And I can genuinely say that that is the only thing that has really brought me peace during this time, because we're being surrounded by so much negativity and so much like doubt, where the Word of God has really just like calmed my soul during this time. And so those are the 5 things that I have found for me, that I have learned during this quarantine. So I would love to know, what are the things that you guys have learned during this quarantine? Please list them in the comments below. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Till next time.